Get ready, we're talking about a bunch of shorts. I was going to make this super long video where I review every single animated short that won the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film. And I might even do this for like the live action, the documentary, somewhere down the line as well. Now here's the thing, that long video is actually pretty far ahead. It is midway through the 50s or the 60s somewhere. I'm like 40 shorts into this thing, and the thing is, it's taking a lot longer to make the whole thing than I thought. So I decided, rather than just wait until the whole thing is done and give it to you all at once, I will give it to you in little chunks, because the video is also promising to be well over an hour, and I don't think almost anyone can stand me for an hour. I think 15 minutes is usually the most people can stand me. So we are going to start the video now. We are going to get through the 30s and the 40s in this video, and then going forward, we will do a new decade every week until the shorts are all reviewed, and then we will compile it all into a massive video along with new intro, everything like that. So since even this video is going to be a little long, even though it's basically kind of cut a little bit, let's get started, because I know you want to get started to hearing about the Oscar-winning shorts and the thoughts. And of course, what do you think about them? Do you agree with my takes? Do you like these shorts? I'd love to know. If you didn't appreciate the winners, which ones would you pick? Comment below at the end, and well, let's start reviewing and watching some darn cartoons. Most appropriately, the first short that won this award was Flowers and Trees, which was produced by Walt Disney and directed by Burt Gillett. But because of the aforementioned Academy rules, Walt Disney was the one who collected the award, the first of many Oscars he would win in this category. It follows a bunch of trees and flowers and mushrooms during the spring. Basically, it's nature living life. And what was notable about this is that it was the first full-color 3-strip Technicolor animated short after several years of 2-color Technicolor films. Now, interestingly, there was a Mickey Mouse cartoon that was nominated during this year. That nomination was Mickey's Orphans, but because Flowers and Trees was the most technical and most standalone-ish, I believe this is why this short won this particular year. By the way, the first award was delivered during the 5th Academy Awards, so yeah, this award came in pretty early, and again, this is Disney. He won, but it would not be the only time he would win. In fact, he would win the very next year with The Three Little Pigs, another short that was directed by Burt Gillett. This one tells the famous story of the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf, and, you know, I'll huff and puff and blow your house down. The big thing about this movie was that the short, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, actually became like a little rallying cry for a world that was dealing with uncertainties, Great Depression, and soon there was like war on the horizon. And so that song became a really big deal, and the short became a huge success. Disney would try to make several other animated shorts starring the wolf and the 3 little pigs. None of them achieved the same amount of success, and it led to Disney making his famous quote, "You can't top pigs with pigs." We get to the third year of the Best Animated Short, and the short that wins is The Tortoise and the Hare, which was directed by Wilfred Jackson and produced by Walt Disney. So as you can see, Disney was making pretty much a yearly walk up the podium to collect a statue. And, you know, it's a fine short. It's a cute short. You know, it's the tortoise and the hare story. Slow and easy wins the day, although there's a little Disney twist at the end that maybe undermines the message just a little bit. But that being said, this is what Bugs Bunny would have probably looked like if Disney was animating him. And, you know, it's got that zany movement and everything. I kind of even wonder if the hare was not subtly inspired by Bugs Bunny. And so Yeah, it's an interesting thought of mine. But yep, The Tortoise and the Hare, third film to win the short. All right, so our next winner is The Three Orphan Kittens, directed by David Hand and produced by, well, Walt Disney. So Walt Disney wins again. And this isn't much to speak of, to be perfectly honest. It's about three kittens who are abandoned, and they sneak into a house and they basically play with a bunch of stuff while avoiding the maid, which is a stereotypical mammy. Now, I think that this is like an okay short. I don't think it's that great, to be perfectly honest, but I do want to take a moment to highlight, and it will be the first of many times this will be highlighted, but this short is technically not available to view easily. It is not on Disney Plus as of this recording, and the last time it was released was in 2006 on the Walt Disney Treasures More Silly Symphonies, which was basically Volume 2. And the reason that it's not readily available is because of the stereotypical mammy. It's not something that's easy to edit out, but this does show the importance of preserving old media. This is an Academy Award winning short, and whether I think it's great or not is kind of besides the point. It's important. It should be preserved. And I know why it might be a problem to put on Disney Plus, which is a primarily family-friendly platform, although they've put Hulu on recently, so that might be changing. But this really stresses why a spiritual successor to the Walt Disney Treasures needs to be made, so that these shorts that were important and they did win an award and they are part of history, they can be preserved. And so that's probably the most noteworthy thing about this short. Again, honestly, it's not that great in my opinion. And I'm not going to mention where you can find these shorts for most of the video because some of them are just so commonplace that I expect a little bit of research. You should find them pretty easily. But in cases like this where the shorts are actually rare and not easy to find, I will make a note of it going forward. All right, our next short is The Country Cousin, directed by Wilfred Jackson and produced by Walt Disney. And this is definitely better than last year's. It's where a country mouse comes to visit his kind of elitist cousin who lives in a mansion with all this fancy food, but they have to be quiet because there's a cat nearby. It's pretty simple, and there's no spoken dialogue, just the little written card at the beginning, so pretty much anyone can watch it. Now, did it deserve to win? Well, that's a little bit of contention. Well, first of all, I am going to mention on a side note that this is another short that is not available on Disney Plus, and the only home media release that I am aware of is the Walt Disney Treasure Silly Symphonies collection, so good luck finding it. But I do want to mention that there was another short nominated this year, Popeye the Sailor Meets Sinbad the Sailor by Max Fleischer. Now, Max Fleischer is one of the greatest animators in history. He is just as important to the field of animation as Walt Disney, Ub Iwerks, Tex Avery, Hanna-Barbera, all that. Max Fleischer is probably best known for directing all those Superman shorts, but he did more than just Superman. He did some Popeye shorts, he did some original shorts, and Fleischer was nominated 4 times for Best Animated Short, including this year where The Country Cousin won. Now, Fleischer lost all of his Oscars to Walt Disney. And here's the thing. I love Walt Disney. I really do. But this is one of the frustrating things about the Academy, and particularly this category, especially in its early days, where Disney just dominated and steamrolled everything when other people deserved awards too. Max Fleischer, one of the greatest animators of all time, never won an Academy Award because Disney won every single time. And I'm going to give a little spoiler. Disney won this award the entire 30s and most of the 40s. So it really is frustrating. I know that they love Disney, but Disney won over 30 Oscars. Could they have not seen it fit to give Max Fleischer just one? Oh, well, anyway, The Country Cousin isn't too bad, so yeah, I guess I liked it. Alright, let's talk about The Old Mill, also directed by Wilfred Jackson and produced by Walt Disney, and unlike the last couple where I was kind of heeing and hawing yeah, these really didn't deserve Oscar wins, this one absolutely does. Story-wise, there's not much to it. It's basically the lives of animals and frogs and bats at an old mill, and then there's a stormy night. But here's the thing. The animation in this is gorgeous. It tells a very subtle story about their lives. And of course, this was the introduction of the multiplane camera, which would be used to great effect in future movies, which created depth perception that had never before been seen in animated short films before. This short was actually so impressive that in 2015, the United States Library of Congress selected the film for preservation in the National Film Registry, finding it culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Now then, is it available? Yes, this one's actually available on Disney Plus, as well as like the Bambi Blu-ray and Snow White Diamond Edition and Walt Disney Treasure Silly Symphonies. Actually, here's a fun fact. Hayao Miyazaki, brilliant director, called The Old Mill his favorite Disney film. So there's some high praise for you right there. This one is definitely worth watching, and thankfully it is readily available. So yeah, give this one a check out if you've got 8 minutes to spare. All right, before we get to the winner for the 11th Academy Awards, I want to mention that this was the first time the award had given out 5 nominations. The previous years for this category had all been 3 nominees, and of the 5 nominations, Walt Disney was nominated in 4 of them. Max Fleischer with the 5th nomination. And yeah, I guess it was pretty obvious Disney was going to win. But again, you look at that and you think someone would say, maybe we're giving Disney too much. Why don't we give the other guy an award just to be even? But no, Disney won again, this time for Ferdinand the Bull, directed by Dick Rickard. And okay, I got to admit, words cannot express how adorable this short is. It's about a bull who doesn't like to fight. He would prefer to sit under a tree and smell flowers, but due to a misunderstanding, he winds up in a bullfight, and it's just way, way too cute for words. I can totally understand, despite my previous complaint, why they would give this the Oscar. By the way, fun fact, Walt Disney himself voices Ferdinand's mother, so he was really personally involved in this one. And yeah, this is a good one. There's no sugarcoating it. I can totally see why this one won. I am, however, not entirely sure why The Ugly Duckling, directed by Jack Cutting and Clyde Geronimi, produced by Walt Disney, won the following year, though. Now, don't get me wrong, The Ugly Duckling is a time-tested tale. It's very cute, and in fact, this version of The Ugly Duckling is featured briefly in Lilo and Stitch, which would come out years later. And I'm not going to do this very often. I'm going to try to focus particularly on the movies that won. But I have to just say this one time. Peace on Earth was a much, much better short. Honestly, that one's worth seeking out. The Ugly Duckling, if you see it, fine. If you don't, I think you're going to live. But definitely check out Peace on Earth. But, okay, back to The Ugly Duckling for a second. Is it a good short? Yeah, it is. Is it great? No. But it's good enough. So I think at this point, I'm just getting a little Walt Disney'd out, if you can believe it, because the man wins so many awards, and it's like, geez, you kind of want to see someone else win for once.